So here's a question for you. You've probably used ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or one of the dozens of AI assistants that have popped up in the last couple of years. You've typed in a prompt, gotten back some text, maybe asked it to rewrite your emails or debug your code, and that's genuinely useful, isn't it? It's like having a very fast, very knowledgeable intern who never sleeps and doesn't charge by the hour. But here's the thing, all of that, that's just the warm-up. That's the opening act. What we're seeing now, what this mini-series is all about, is something that most people haven't really wrapped their heads around yet, and that's agents, agentic AI. The shift from AI as a tool you use to AI as a colleague who works. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another buzzword, another tech industry thing that's going to be irrelevant in 18 months. Fair enough. We've all seen the hype cycles. Remember the metaverse? Remember Web3? But this one is different, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's start with what agentic actually means, because it's the core concept and it's actually quite simple once you strip away the jargon. An agent is something that has autonomy. It has goals, not just instructions. It can make decisions, take actions, and adapt as it goes. Think about the difference between a calculator and a human accountant. A calculator does exactly what you tell it. An accountant looks at your situation, makes judgment calls, and gets the work done even when things get messy. That's the jump we're making with agentic AI. A chatbot, on the other hand, is fundamentally reactive. You ask a question, it gives you an answer. You give it a prompt, it gives you output. It's a very sophisticated tool, don't get me wrong, but it's still a tool. It waits for you to point it at a problem. An agent? An agent is given an objective and it figures out the path itself. Book me a flight to Berlin next Tuesday that costs under £500 and has Wi-Fi. That's a task with constraints and multiple steps. A chatbot might give you a list of options. An agent will actually do the booking. This distinction matters more than it might seem at first, because it changes the fundamental relationship you have with AI. With a chatbot, you're the pilot. With an agent, you're more like the manager. You set the direction, you define success, and then you let it get on with it. And that is a massive shift in what these systems are capable of in the real world. Now let's talk about why this matters right now, this specific moment in time. Because the technology has reached a point where agents aren't just a theoretical idea or a research paper anymore. They're actually here, actually working, and actually being deployed by major companies to get real things done. We're not talking about science fiction. We're talking about AI that can use tools, browse the web, read and write files, run code, interact with APIs. It can look at your calendar, book meetings, send emails. It can reason through a problem, break it down into steps, execute those steps, and check its own work. And this is where it gets really interesting and maybe a little bit unsettling. When you combine autonomy with the ability to use tools and the ability to remember context across sessions, you end up with something that starts to look less like software and more like a digital worker. Not a worker in the sense of it's doing a bit of typing for you, a worker in the sense of it's handling a chunk of your job. Here's an example. Let's say you're a software developer. You've been using AI to help you write code, to explain error messages, to suggest refactoring. That's incredibly useful. I've done it myself. But an agent can go further. You can say, fix the bug in the payment module and make sure all the tests pass. And it will read the code, identify the issue, implement a fix, run the tests, and if something breaks, it will iterate until it works. That's not you using a tool. That's you delegating work. And this is why I think this moment is different from previous AI advances. The jump from rule-based systems to machine learning was huge, don't get me wrong. The jump from statistical models to large language models was massive too. But this jump, from answering questions to doing work, this is the one where the implications hit closest to how we actually earn a living. Because here's the thing that's easy to miss. A chatbot makes you more productive at the tasks you already do. An agent changes what tasks you need to do in the first place. That's a fundamentally different impact on work. It's the difference between a better hammer and not needing to build a house yourself. So where does this leave us? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore throughout this series. We're going to look at how agents actually work under the hood because understanding the mechanics helps you understand what's possible and what can go wrong. We're going to look at which industries are going to feel this first and hardest. We're going to have the uncomfortable conversation about jobs because pretending this has no impact on employment would be dishonest and overselling the doom would be alarmist. We're going to talk about the genuinely difficult philosophical questions, like accountability when an AI makes a mistake that costs money or trust. And we're going to get practical about how you position yourself to thrive in this new landscape, not just survive it. But all of that starts here, with this basic idea. The era of the agent is dawning. It's not a product launch or a feature update. It's a fundamental shift in what AI is capable of doing in the world. And unlike some of the more overhyped trends in tech, this one has real teeth, real investment, and real momentum behind it. Next episode, we're going to pull back the curtain and look under the hood. How do agents actually work? What's going on inside that makes them different from chatbots? And why does understanding this matter for you, whether you're a developer or just someone who wants to understand where the world is heading? Because here's the thing, this is happening. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and how quickly you understand. It might just shape the next decade of your career. So stick around. This is going to be a fascinating ride.